At the reunion, my brother raised his glass and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, to the guy who always arrives late, empty-handed, and still wants a seat at the table. Laughter rippled through the group, sharper than it should have been. Someone clapped. My cousin choked on her mimosa. Even Mom laughed like she did not notice how red my ears turned. I raised my own glass, plastic half filled with store-brand soda, and said, to the guy who just paid off the mortgage you thought was yours. The silence hit like a dropped plate. My brother's grin stuttered and fell. Mom blinked like she had not heard me right. Dad stopped chewing mid-bite. For once, the only sound was the wind brushing past the tent and the faint hum of someone's forgotten Bluetooth speaker. I sipped from my cup, nodded, and added, "You are welcome." That is when I knew I should have skipped the reunion. The picnic table was full, but no one looked at me. My sister turned back to the potato salad like it held state secrets. My uncle cleared his throat and muttered something about football. The same people who texted me last week, asking if I could spot them just this once, now could not meet my eye. Typical. Earlier that morning, I had swung by a gas station to grab chips and a six-pack. Nothing fancy, just something to say I did not show up empty-handed. I was not trying to impress anyone. When I arrived, I saw my brother unloading catered trays from the back of his leased SU-5. My sister-in-law was already arranging them like she was shooting a segment for daytime T5 linen napkins, folded place cards, a balloon arch. I placed my grocery bag next to a mountain of hors d'oeuvres. It looked ridiculous, but that has always been my role, the quiet one, the late one. He is just like that one, the guy who pays but never gets thanked, who gets mocked and still shows up. Not anymore. They laughed like I was the punchline, but I had been footing the bill for years. My brother, the same one who made that joke, lives in a house I helped him buy. Not legally. No one bothered with paperwork. Just endless, "I will pay you back, man," texts that slowly turned into radio silence. At some point, they stopped pretending I would get repaid. I stopped pretending I believed them. I co-signed the loan when his credit was too shot for approval. That was 4 years ago. Since then, I have made 41 mortgage payments. He made 3, the first 3. My parents retired early, or at least that is what they told everyone. What they really meant was, "We will retire and you will keep the lights on." I paid the electric, the gas, the groceries, all while they told their friends they were living off wise investments and dignity. My mom calls it family support. I call it subsidized disrespect. Even my little sister, who posts motivational quotes about building your empire, lives rent-free in a condo I bought during the pandemic. She calls it manifesting stability. I call it squatting with Wi-Fi. No one ever said thank you. They said things like, "You are just better with money, you do not have kids, so it makes sense. You are single. You would not understand." They made it sound like generosity was a personality flaw I needed to fix, like I owed them for existing while unmarried. At first, I went along with it. It was easier than arguing. Every month, I sent the money. Every holiday, I showed up with bags of food no one touched. Every group chat, I watched them ignore my messages until it was rent week. But deep down, I kept hoping that if I gave enough, helped enough, they would see me differently. They did not. Instead, they sharpened the jokes. I became the one who worked too much, took life too seriously, and could not take a joke. They called me uptight while cashing my transfers. My brother once made a crack about me being the bank with no customer service. I laughed then. Not anymore. Because here is the truth. I was not quiet because I did not notice. I was quiet because I was measuring every jab, every eye roll, every time. They made me feel small for showing up tired, for not dressing right, for not having a family of my own. I was tracking it all. And the irony, they thought they were above me because they needed me. That is the delusion dependency creates. The more I gave, the more invisible I became. They built a whole ecosystem on my silence. My parents did not downsize because I was their safety net. My brother did not budget because I covered the shortfalls. My sister kept shopping because she assumed I would swoop in before the credit card bill hit. It was a game of chicken I never agreed to play. I remember one night I called my dad to say I would be late on the next payment. Just 1 week. I had a medical bill. Nothing major, just a checkup that came out higher than expected. He sighed and said, "I guess we will have to figure something out then." Like my health was an inconvenience. That is when I realized I was not a son anymore. I was a wallet with Wi-Fi, a ghost who paid the rent, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The most brutal part, they convinced me I was lucky. "At least you are in a position to help," my mom once said. Like I had not worked every weekend for 5 years. Like I had not skipped vacations, dinners, even dates. because someone needed a short-term loan. They needed me, but they never respected me, and I had enabled every inch of it, not with kindness, but with fear. Fear that if I stopped giving, I would lose them, that they would leave me completely. But then one day, I looked around and realized they were never really with me. They were just orbiting my usefulness. That is when the guilt started to rot, and the rot turned into rage. I did not shout. I did not slam doors. I just stopped replying to, "Hey, quick question," texts. I let Venmo requests expire. I stopped reminding them when bills were due, and I watched. My brother started calling me cold. My sister said I was going through something. My mom blamed my mood swings. No one asked if I was okay, only why the money stopped. It was almost poetic. The moment I stopped paying, I became the villain. But here is the twist. They did not see coming. I was done apologizing for their dependence. I did not owe them my exhaustion. I did not owe them my credit score. I did not owe them my silence. So at that picnic, when my brother raised his glass and tried to embarrass me in front of a crowd, I did not flinch. I stood my ground. To the guy who just paid off the mortgage you thought was yours, and the look on his face, the sudden math he had to do in his head was better than applause. Because for once, they were the ones caught off guard. For once, I was the one rewriting the script. The text came 3 days after the reunion. "Hey bro, can you send the usual for the house? We are cutting it close this month." No greeting, no comment about the toast, no acknowledgement that I just lit their little fantasy on fire and walked away. I stared at the message. Then I closed my phone. I did not answer that day or the next. It was a strange new sensation, silence, not guilt, not anxiety, just silence. I spent that weekend walking, cooking, reading. It felt like I was living inside someone else's life, one that was not haunted by the ticking clock of other people's bills. Then on Monday, a follow-up pinged in. "Just checking again. Need to make the payment by Wednesday. Let me know." Still nothing about the picnic. Still pretending like nothing had changed, so I answered, "No." The typing bubble popped up instantly. "What do you mean, no?" Then, "Wait, are you serious?" And finally, "You cannot just stop. That is not fair." I did not argue. I did not explain. I let it hang. Later that night, my sister called. I did not pick up. She left a voicemail, something about being behind, about how Ethan is trying, and I am really stressed right now. I listened to the whole thing, then deleted it. The next morning, my mom texted, "Can we talk? I am worried. This is not like you." That part made me laugh, because this was exactly like me, the me they had never bothered to see. I texted back, "I am done with people who treat me like a joke." 10 seconds later, the phone rang. "Mom." I picked up. "Excuse me?" She said, as if she could not possibly have read that right. "You heard me," I said, calm, flat, measured. "I am done." There was silence. Then she tried to pivot. "We are family. Families help each other. That has always been our way." "No," I said, "that has always been my way. Everyone else just took." She did not like that. The tone shifted. She said I was ungrateful, that I was trying to punish everyone, that I was being emotional. "Actually," I said, "I have never been clearer." Then I hung up. 20 minutes later, my dad called. I did not want to answer, but I did, because I knew exactly what he would say. "So you are really cutting everyone off?" he asked, like this was a practical joke gone too far. "Yes." He gave that tired sigh, the one he used when the car broke down or the T5 remote went missing. "You cannot just leave us like this," he said. "I did not leave," I replied. "I stayed longer than I should have. You just stopped noticing." "What about the mortgage?" he asked. "It is due in 5 days. I am not paying it." There was a long pause. Then he laughed, a dry, uncomfortable kind of laugh. "You are bluffing." "I am not. You always say stuff like this." "No, I do not. This is new." Then I said it, the one thing that really cracked the illusion. "You mocked me. I paid your mortgage. That ends now." Silence. I could almost hear the floor creaking beneath his sense of entitlement. He hung up without a word. And that was the moment the actual break. The fantasy shattered. The ATM stopped working. The default donor walked off the stage. Over the next few days, the group chat went quiet. The same group that used to light up every time someone needed a favor or a ride or a last-minute loan was suddenly dormant. They did not know how to function without me. Then the guilt campaign began. My sister texted, "I am literally crying right now. I cannot believe you are doing this to your own family." My mom sent a voice note. I did not open it. My brother, the one who toasted to my failures, texted just one word. "Seriously?" I did not reply. Then came the escalation. "I might have to break my lease," my sister said. "We will have to move back in with Mom and Dad. Is that what you want?" Yes, I texted back. Exactly. She did not answer after that. But the next day I heard from my dad again. His tone was different this time, not angry, desperate. What happened to you, he asked. You used to be reliable. No, I said. I used to be scared. He went quiet. Scared of what? Of losing you, I said. But I cannot lose people who only show up when they need something. He hung up again. A week later, my sister posted a photo on Instagram. Caption, back where it all began. It was a shot of her childhood bedroom. Same posters, same bedspread, same pretend smile. Ethan was not in the picture. I did not comment. Then Mom called, this time unfiltered. I hope you are happy, she said. She is miserable. We are all miserable. I am peaceful, I said. Another hang-up. That month I paid only one bill, my own, and for the first time in years I slept without checking my bank app every night. The real moment, the final cut, came 2 weeks later. My dad called one last time. I answered. We are not going to make the payment, he said. I know. There is a letter from the bank, I figured. So that is it. You are just going to watch us lose everything? No, I said, I already watched you lose me. This part is just paperwork. He did not yell. He did not cry. He just breathed heavy into the phone like maybe he was aging all at once. Then he whispered, You really mean it? I do. I hung up. He did not call back. And that was the moment I crossed the line I had drawn for myself for years. The line between being useful and being used. I did not burn the bridge. I just stopped holding it up. I did not hear from anyone for almost 1 month. The silence was glorious. No texts, no calls, no emails wrapped in guilt or emojis. It was like the whole family retreated into a bunker, trying to figure out how to survive without the human piggy bank. Then my mom called. Dinner, she said. Just dinner, no expectations. I said yes. Not because I believed her, I did not. But I wanted to see it, to look them in the eye and measure how far the collapse had reached. They tried to make the house look normal. Clean table, reheated pasta, a bottle of wine that probably came from the discount shelf. My dad looked tired in a way he did not try to hide. My mom wore makeup but forgot to blend it properly. My sister did not come down. We ate quietly, like strangers pretending to be family. Then my mom leaned in. We are in a tough spot right now, she said carefully. Just for a little while. If you could help again. I did not let her finish. No. Her face did not move, but her eyes did. Sharp, defensive, calculating. It is not about the money, she said. It has always been about the money, I replied. You just hated that I pointed it out. My dad tried to shift gears. We are trying, okay? But we are not young anymore. We cannot just start over. Then downsize, I said. Move. Get a roommate. Sell the house. Do what people do when they do not have backup. He flinched. We built this life, he said. No, I corrected. You borrowed it. I built it. Silence again. Then I said something that changed everything. I'm hosting a picnic. 1 month from now, just us. No cousins, no neighbors, no plus ones. I will bring something to the table, but it will not be money. They did not ask questions. They knew me well enough to be scared. The next day I started making calls, not to loan officers or accountants, but to hiring managers. I reached out to my old college roommate who now managed logistics for a warehouse chain. Asked if he needed someone dependable. He said, always. I called an old friend who ran a community clinic. Asked if they still needed admin help, she said desperately. I talked to a woman I met through a charity auction who coordinated events for a food bank. She was looking for reliable prep staff. I told her I had a name. Within 2 weeks, I had job offers lined up, real jobs, nothing glamorous, nothing viral, but stable, decent, honest. Then I printed them, one for each person. Picnic day came faster than expected. I brought a folding table, sandwiches, a water cooler, and a stack of envelopes. My parents showed up dressed for damage control. My dad wore a collared shirt that had not been ironed. My mom wore fake pearls and fake calm. My sister showed up in sunglasses, in silence. No one brought food, of course. We sat. They waited for me to apologize, or to soften, or to say something nostalgic. I did not. I pulled out the folders and passed them around. What is this? My sister asked, flipping through hers like it was a prank. Options, I said, jobs, not cash. She blinked. You are kidding? No, I said. She stared at me. You expect me to work at a clinic answering phones? Yes. She scoffed. You are punishing me. No, I said again, calm as stone. I am offering help, just not the kind that bankrupts me. My mom opened hers. She looked at the listing, then at me. This is food prep, she said. You used to volunteer doing exactly that, I said. You were good at it. She said nothing. My dad looked at his sheet. It was a position for warehouse inventory, flexible hours, decent pay, physically demanding. He exhaled through his nose. You are serious? Completely. Then came the explosion. This is humiliating, my sister snapped. You think you can just fix us with job ads? No, I said. I think you can fix yourselves with them, or do not. But do not ask me to drown so you can float. My mom tried a softer approach. We are not built for this kind of work anymore. Then live within your means, I replied, or ask someone else to carry you. Oh, wait. There is no one else, is there? My dad stood up like he was going to say something profound. Then he did not. They packed up. My sister left her folder on the table. My mom dropped hers in the trash. My dad shoved his in his jacket. They did not hug me. They did not say goodbye. And that was the best part. No more pretending. I sat at the table for a while after they left. Just me, some untouched sandwiches, and 3 chairs that would stay empty by choice. But I felt full. For the first time. I was not the one being discarded. I was the one doing the choosing, and I chose self-respect. They wanted help. I gave it. But help does not always come with a deposit. Sometimes it comes with a mirror. 3 days passed. Then the clinic called. Just wanted to thank you for referring Madison. The woman said she interviewed Monday, started today. So far, so good. I stared at my phone. Madison, my sister, took the job. No drama, no announcement, no Instagram story about new chapters or healing energy, just work. That is when I realized something had shifted. She did not do it for me. She did it because she had no choice. And that made it real. I did not reach out. I did not congratulate her. I just waited. 4 days later, a text came through. Started work. It is fine. Do not get used to me thanking you. But also, I am not quitting. So there. No hearts, no emojis, just fact, blunt, honest, perfect. Then came the next move. My dad called and asked if the warehouse job was still open. Said he had been thinking. His voice had none of the performance I was used to, just fatigue. I gave him the number again. He did not thank me. But 2 weeks later, my cousin texted me. Uncle Joe is working now. He actually clocked in today at 7 a.m. What did you do? Nothing. I just stopped saving him. He saved himself. Even my mom, who once said her hands were too old for kitchen work, took the food prep position quietly. She clocked hours under a different last name, not to hide from strangers, but to hide from shame. She did not tell anyone. But I knew because one day she sent me a flyer for a Sunday food drive. No message, no ask, just the flyer. Like she wanted to show me something without showing it. And that silence? That was louder than any apology. The group chat stayed dead. No new jokes, no funny memes, no chain messages about how family is everything. Because now they were busy. Busy working, busy adjusting, busy surviving without the one person they swore could not let go. They had finally been forced to stand. And even though they stumbled, they stood. For the first time in my life, I was not angry. I was not bitter. I was just still. I came home from work, made myself dinner, watched documentaries I had been putting off for years. I slept through the night without dreaming of missed payments or disappointed sighs. And slowly signs began to appear. My sister posted a photo of her clinic ID badge. No caption, just the image, a public restroom mirror, fluorescent lights, her hand holding it up like proof. My dad sent a single line, got forklift certified today. My back is not thrilled, but it is honest work. And my mom, she emailed, not texted, emailed. 2 sentences, no subject line. I did not realize how much we relied on you until we had to rely on ourselves. We are trying. No theatrics, no emotional blackmail, just truth. And that is when I knew the shift was not just in them, it was in me. I did not need them to validate me anymore. I did not need them to be proud or to say sorry or to pretend to change, because this time they did change. Not for me, but for themselves and me. For the first time, I did not feel like someone's crutch. I felt like myself. 1 month later, I sent one message to the family group chat. Hosting another picnic, same spot. Saturday at noon. Come if you want. No frills, no emojis, no bait. No one replied, but they came. My sister arrived first. She was still in scrubs, hair pulled back, shoes scuffed from the clinic floor. She looked tired, not exhausted tired, but earned it tired, the kind that comes from finally carrying your own weight. Then my dad showed up. Khakis, plain polo, sunburned forearms. He looked smaller than I remembered, or maybe I had just finally stopped shrinking myself to fit around him. Last was my mom. No jewelry, no loud jacket, just a windbreaker, old sneakers and silence. We sat at the same table as last time. No arch, no curated photos, no tension. I did not wait for someone to speak first. I did not smile. I did not joke. I laid it down like truth. I am not paying your bills again. No one flinched. I am not here to rescue. I am not here to bleed so no one else has to sweat. Still silence, but it was different this time. I love you, that has not changed. But love without boundaries is not love. It is sacrifice. And I am done bleeding. They did not argue. They did not bargain, because now they knew. My dad nodded once, slow and firm, like the gears in his head had finally stopped grinding against denial. My sister picked at the edge of her paper napkin, but did not speak. She did not need to. My mom, who once led every room like a general with pearls and casserole, just sat back and said, "We know." Not dramatic, not defensive, just acknowledgement. And right then, for the first time in my life, I did not feel like the broken one at the table. I felt like the adult. We shared sandwiches. No one fought over the last soda. No one made digs. We talked about mundane things, traffic, weather, a neighbor's annoying dog. Nothing important, and yet somehow the most important conversation we had ever had, because it was real. At the end, they helped clean up. My dad folded the table, my mom gathered the trash, my sister tied the bag and said, "I will walk this to the bin." She did not ask for gas money, I did not offer. As they left, I stood there alone, same as last time. But this time I was not abandoned. I was free. And not just from the money, or the weight, or the manipulation. Free from the version of me that believed I had to earn love through suffering. They changed. But not because I begged them to. Because I stopped saving them long enough for them to realize they had to swim. For years, I carried the weight of my family's expectations silently. Like an invisible backpack filled with their bills, dreams, and excuses. I was the reliable one. The single, childless brother with a steady job and no real responsibilities, as they liked to remind me. So I paid. Mortgage payments for my brother's house that I co-signed when his credit collapsed. Utilities and groceries for my retired parents who claimed they were living modestly off investments. Rent-free living for my sister in the condo I bought during the pandemic. I told myself it was love. Family helps family. But deep down it felt like something else. Like I was buying the right to belong. At the family reunion, everything cracked open. My brother stood up, glass raised high, and toasted loudly to the guy who always arrives late, empty-handed, and still wants a seat at the table. The laughter cut deeper than any knife. My cousins chuckled, my mom smiled awkwardly, and even my dad joined in with a half-hearted grin. I felt my face burn. I had shown up with a simple bag of chips and soda, nothing fancy, just enough to contribute. Meanwhile, my brother unloaded catered trays from his leased SUV, my sister-in-law arranging everything like it was a magazine shoot. My small grocery bag looked pathetic beside their spread. But the real joke? I had been paying for most of it. The house they lived in, the lifestyle they flaunted. I raised my plastic cup of cheap soda and said calmly, "To the guy who just paid off the mortgage you thought was yours, you're welcome." The laughter died instantly. Silence fell like a heavy curtain. My brother's smile froze, then crumbled. My parents stared, forks midair. For the first time, they saw me, not as the quiet pushover, but as the one holding everything together. That moment wasn't planned. It just erupted after years of swallowing insults. They mocked me for being uptight, for working too much, for not having a family of my own. They said I was better with money because I didn't have kids, as if my sacrifices were a character flaw. I laughed along at first, hoping if I gave enough, they'd finally respect me. But the more I gave, the more entitled they became. My brother stopped pretending he'd pay me back. My parents sighed dramatically whenever I was late on a transfer. My sister posted about manifesting abundance while living rent-free in my property. I used to fear stopping. What if they cut me off? What if I became the selfish one, the black sheep? But that fear kept me chained. When my brother's toast humiliated me in front of everyone, something shifted. I realized they weren't orbiting me out of love. They were orbiting my wallet. The rage I'd buried turned cold and clear. I stopped replying to quick favor texts. I let Venmo requests expire. I ignored calls about overdue bills. The backlash came fast. Accusations of being cold, ungrateful, going through something. My mom blamed my mood swings. No one asked if I was okay, only why the money stopped. My brother texted desperately about the mortgage. My sister left voicemails about stress. My dad sighed like my boundaries were an inconvenience. I held firm. No, just that. No explanations, no apologies. Watching their world wobble without my support was painful but liberating. The house payments lapsed. My sister moved back home. Guilt trips flew. Is this what you want? For us to lose everything? But I'd already lost something, the illusion that their love was unconditional. I told them plainly, I wasn't leaving them. I was stopping the one-way bleeding. I didn't just walk away, I offered real help. At a second picnic, I brought job listings I'd gathered for each of them. Honest work, clinic admin for my sister, warehouse shifts for my dad, food prep for my mom. They were furious at first, humiliating. My sister snapped, "You're punishing us!" But I wasn't. I was refusing to enable anymore. Help isn't always cash, sometimes it's a mirror. Slowly, they took the jobs. My sister started at the clinic. No fanfare, just quiet acceptance. My dad got forklift certified, complaining about his back but showing up. My mom prepped food at the bank, even sending me a flyer without words. Their pride crumbled, but something stronger emerged: self-reliance. At our final picnic, no one brought extravagance. We ate simple sandwiches. I laid it out. I love you, but love has boundaries now. I won't pay your way again. They nodded. No arguments, no bargains. For the first time, conversation flowed without subtext, without expectation. They cleaned up without being asked. I feel lighter now. The anger has faded into peace. I sleep without dread. I've reclaimed my life, not out of bitterness, but self-respect. They're standing on their own feet, earning their way. And in that shift, something fragile but real has begun to heal. Family isn't about who pays the most, it's about who shows up as equals. I finally have a seat at the table, one I earned, not bought.